Stream. 5G cloud gaming secrets revealed, explained. Explore subscription and freemium and B2B models. Understand how.
All right, let's dive into something that is completely shaking up what it means to be a gamer. We're talking about why that super powerful, super expensive gaming rig you've got might just be the last one you ever need to buy.
So let me just ask you this. What if you could play a beautiful, graphically intense game like Cyberpunk 2077 on, say, a basic Chromebook, or even just on your phone? I mean, that sounds impossible, doesn't it? How could a little device with basically zero graphical horsepower run a game that makes even high-end PCs break a sweat?
Well, that is the incredible promise of cloud gaming. It's this idea that you can totally separate the power to run a game from the actual device you're playing it on. Just imagine it. All the performance of a top-of-the-line gaming rig, but on pretty much any screen you already own.
Okay, so how in the world does this magic trick actually work, right? How do you get these massive blockbuster games to run on a device that was clearly never built for them? Let's break down what's happening behind the curtain.
You know, the concept is actually way simpler than you might think, and you're probably already using something just like it. Think about Netflix. The movie you're watching isn't actually stored on your TV, right? It's on a server somewhere far away, and it's just being streamed to your screen. Cloud gaming is the exact same idea, but for video games. The game is running on some supercomputer in a data center, you get the video feed, and every time you press a button, that signal gets sent back instantly.
To really get our heads around this, let's take a look at one of the biggest players out there, NVIDIA's GeForce Now. They've built this massive global network that gives us a perfect peek into what this cloud-powered future actually looks like.
The way GeForce Now works is with a model they call Bring Your Own Games. So first up, you connect the game store accounts you already have, like Steam or the Epic Game Store. The cool part is you don't have to rebuy any of your games. Then you just open the GeForce Now app, pick a game you already own, and hit play. And bam! In seconds, that game is up and running on a beast of an NVIDIA RTX rig in a data center, streaming right to your device.
And this right here, this just shows you what a massive shift we're talking about. The old way, you'd shell out thousands for a gaming PC, you'd be stuck with its power, and you're constantly dealing with huge downloads and updates. But with cloud gaming, you just use the devices you've already got, you get access to top-tier hardware that someone else is always upgrading for you, and you get to play instantly. No more waiting for a 100-gigabyte patch to download. It's a game changer.
And we're not talking about a small selection either. The library is massive. Over 2,300 games are supported. That includes huge free-to-play titles like Fortnite and Genshin Impact, and major new releases like Baldur's Gate 3 and Alan Wake 2, all just ready to go the moment you click.
But, you see, having access to a powerful computer is really only half the battle. Making it feel like that computer is right there in the room with you, that's a whole different challenge. And the secret ingredient that makes it all feel so responsive and so immediate is the network itself, especially these new next-gen 5G networks.
Yeah, this quote just nails it. Unlike streaming a movie, which is a one-way street, gaming is a two-way conversation. Every single thing you do has to travel all the way to the server and back again. Any tiny delay, what we gamers call latency or lag, can make a game feel sluggish, just off. Every single millisecond really does count.
So, how do these networks guarantee that low latency? Well, one of the key technologies is something called network slicing. The best way to think about this is like creating a special VIP express lane on the internet just for your game data. So while everyone else is stuck in regular internet traffic, your game's information gets its own clear, prioritized path. That's what keeps your connection stable and super fast. Okay, so if network slicing is your VIP lane, then you can think of this other piece of tech, L4S, as the super smart traffic management system for that lane. It's like an early warning system that spots potential traffic jams before they even happen, and it instantly reroutes data to avoid them. It's what keeps your game stream feeling incredibly smooth, even when the rest of the network is getting busy. Now, all of this technology sounds absolutely incredible, and it is. But, and this is a big but, the real-world experience isn't just about the servers in the cloud. It also depends entirely on the conditions at your end of the connection.
In the first big reality check, data. Man, does this use a lot of data. Streaming a high-quality game isn't like browsing a few websites. At the highest settings, you could easily burn through 11 gigabytes of data, maybe even more in just a single hour. So if you're on a mobile plan that isn't unlimited, that's definitely something you have to keep an eye on.
But when it all comes together perfectly, the experience can be absolutely mind-blowing. Like this user on Reddit, who's playing over a strong mobile data connection and just calls it insanely good. This is it. This is the dream of cloud gaming made real.
playing high-end games wherever you are, with a connection that feels totally flawless.
But then, here's the other side of that coin. Another user points out not only the massive data usage, but the hard reality that older 4G or LTE connections, they often just can't keep up. That leads to stutters, drops in quality. It's not a great experience. The type of network you're on really does make all the difference.
So, when you boil it all down, what's the secret sauce for a good experience? Well, it comes down to just a few key things. You need a fast, stable internet connection, low latency to the server, and ideally, you're using a wired connection or at least 5 GHz Wi-Fi. If you've got those boxes checked, you are in for an incredible time.
And this brings us to the biggest idea of all. Because while this technology is totally revolutionizing gaming, its impact is going to be felt far, far beyond just playing video games.
See, all the innovations they needed to make cloud gaming work, streaming these massive amounts of data with almost zero latency, those are the exact same building blocks needed for a whole bunch of other future technologies. Think about autonomous driving. A car needs to process a ton of sensor data and get a response from essential AI with absolutely no delay. That is the exact same problem that cloud gaming solves, which basically makes it a testbed for our entire connected future.
Which leaves us with one final big thought to chew on. If all the computing power you could ever need is just waiting for you in the cloud, and the only things you really need are a good screen and a fast connection, does the whole idea of buying and owning expensive, specialized hardware start to feel a little obsolete? The future of high-performance computing might not be a box sitting on your desk, but a service you just access on any screen from anywhere.